Donald Trump went on Newsmax for an interview, and he used the opportunity to, one, insult Ron DeSantis by telling the truth about him, more or less, which was hilarious. But number two, continue to spread election lies about 2020, in which he tried to steal the election from Joe Biden, prompting Newsmax to issue a very blunt disclaimer. And that is even funnier. But before we unpack all that, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, and the alert bell. Maybe check out my Patreon. I'd appreciate the support. So, folks, let's get into it. Donald Trump went on Newsmax. Newsmax, I think, is his preferred media outlet, such as it is these days, because he thinks that Fox is insufficiently loyal because some of them occasionally criticize him, unlike when he was in the White House. But one of the funniest, there were two clips, basically, I want to show you. Three, I guess, total. Two of Donald Trump. And the first is Donald Trump offering his commentary on Ron DeSantis by basically telling the truth about him. This is proof that Donald Trump occasionally can indeed tell the truth. Take it away, Donnie.
And just like they said that, they didn't believe it, but like they said that, now they say, oh, well, we want to really run against. DeSantis is a failed candidate. If I didn't endorse DeSantis, he wouldn't have ever won. He was he was out. Then I endorsed him, and he went up and he was able to win. He went up massively in one night after I endorsed him. But he was a failed candidate. And you know what? He's a failed candidate again. He's got no personality. He's got nothing going. And he's dropped like a rock. I don't even think he's going to be 2 number long. I mean, somebody's going to...
So what's interesting is at the time of this recording, I saw a new poll which put Vivek Ramaswamy ahead of DeSantis. We saw a couple of those a couple of weeks ago, but I think this is the most recent aggregate poll. We'll find out if it's a fluke, but right now, Vivek Ramaswamy is at the very least nipping at DeSantis's heels and is, in some polls, outright surpassing him. So Donald, again, Trump, who is a pathological liar and a malignant narcissist, is actually kind of accurate on this one.
Come along like maybe Tim Scott or somebody and probably take his place. And probably this stops him in 28. You know, he could have walked into 28, maybe. You still have to campaign. You don't walk into anything. This is a tough world in politics.
So, again, this may very well be the case that Ron DeSantis is, sometimes this happens, folks, like when you mismanage a presidential campaign, very often it's the end of any presidential aspirations. Look at what was the name of that guy who ran as a Democrat back in like 2004? I'm blanking on his name, but he did that weird, like, he did this like weird battle cry during the primary. It was something innocuous, had nothing to do with policy or any sort of scandal. He just made a weird noise. He made a weird noise on camera at the wrong time, and it was like correlated with his campaign tanking. Sometimes just a weird or awkward personality in a presidential campaign can essentially cripple future presidential aspirations. So that may very well be the case for Ron DeSantis, and boy, would that be hilarious. That would be hilarious if so. The other clip I want to show you here is Donald. This part is considerably less funny because it's Donald Trump spreading his typical lies about the 2020 election, which of course is incredibly dangerous, and helped contribute to the schemes that he tried to pull, the stunts he tried to pull to steal the election from Joe Biden in 2020. Donald Trump was the election thief here, or the attempted election thief. And it was the predicate for the schemes to try to steal the election from Joe Biden, for which he is being federally indicted. So let's hear what he has to say, because what follows this is the cherry on top of the sundae.
They're doing this type of thing, and you're answering indictments and arraignments.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, it really is incredible. And I'm answering them not for that. I'm answering because I question an election. Not only question, I totally dispute that election. I think it's ridiculous what happened, and that they allowed that to happen, and that the media doesn't want anybody to talk about it. But now we can. And we did something yesterday.
So notice that while Donald Trump is spreading his lies, I think the guy's name is Eric Bolins, is just sitting there stone-faced, like trying to offer a little bit of a smile, but otherwise like flat affectation entirely, and he offers no comment. This is the reason why he offers no comment.
Well, we thank you. The American people thank you. I thank you, Newsmax.
Thank you. And great job, great success. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, folks, now just a note, Newsmax has accepted the election results as legal and final.
Oh.
That, folks, that's hilarious. He looked Donald Trump dead in the face as a Trump sycophant, shook his hand, said, Mr. President, thank you for the interview. The American people thanks you, just like fawning, foisting praise over him. And Donald Trump shakes his hand, says, you're doing a fantastic job. You're really great. Because, of course, Donald Trump only responds to praise. And then for it to instantly cut to the same person going, yeah, everything Donald Trump just said, by the way, complete lie. The 2020 election wasn't stolen. We've accepted the results of the election. That's why I sat there stone-faced and didn't acknowledge anything, because everything that man said, that everything that like anthropomorphic orange said was absolutely false. That's hilarious. And I hope that Donald Trump sees this clip because obviously, you know, the disclaimer from Newsmax came later in the studio, right? He didn't say it to Trump's face that the election wasn't stolen because, of course, these MAGA cultists, these Trump sycophants wouldn't have the temerity, the fortitude to do something like that, to tell facts in the face of a liar like Trump. So he waited until afterwards in the studio to just kind of add that disclaimer. But I hope Trump, when he goes to see the interview, because you know he does, you know, I can't wait to see myself on Newsmax. I'm such a good boy. To watch that interview and then see it conclude, just the whole thing end with, yeah, everything Trump said there was a lie. The election wasn't stolen. President Joe Biden is indeed the duly elected, legitimate president of the United States. It's got a sting, and I wish somebody would be recording Trump's reaction when he sees this. It's hilarious.